Meet Natalie. Natalie loves books.
This is your brain on books. Any questions? And this is Angela. She's a very serious jazz singer.
Shooby-dooby-dooby-doop-doop-doo. And sure, we both like to stay informed, but this world sometimes, am I right? You know what we need? 30 minutes of meditation.
Pop culture meditation.
So we're here to remind you.
We get it. You're smart. But right now, take a deep breath and put your books down.
Hello, Natalie.
Hey.
Hi. How you doing?
I guess not as good as you're doing.
Because I'm doing vocal fry. Hi. How are you? Yeah, it's weird, right? Okay. Welcome to Put Your Books Down. Oh, she's like, no, stop that. Stop doing that.
You stop it right now.
You stop that right now.
Rebuked.
You get in there and you stop that right now.
Get in there.
Missy.
Listen, how's it going?
Hey, it's going good. It's going good. I've had quite a week, I have to say. I've had a lot going on. We were real tired on Friday, so we took a nap, and it was like a day-long nap, which was kind of amazing, and I really feel good because of that.
Good.
And then I had a gig last night, and the gig was awesome because everybody was in there at Pimento Tea Room. Frank and I played for them, and they were like making requests and just clapping and laughing and just I had them right here. This is where they were.
Eating out of your hand.
Right there.
They were eating pimentos out of your hand.
Palm of my hand. Yep, palm of my hand. So it was really fun. And then today I spent watching the movie that we are going to talk about today. And I just have to say, I feel good.
Good.
Because this movie is probably the most feel-good of feel-good movies
It's
that
one
ever
of the best movies
felt
ever.
good.
But let me tell you before we get into that.
Yeah.
The last 2 nights, so I haven't had any tequila in over a week. BT dubs.
Wow. That's pretty amazing.
I know. How strong am I? But
you are.
Yeah, I've had 1 glass of red wine at night, and I don't down red wine, so 1 glass will last me like 3 hours. So I'm not trying to have a seizure or anything, but it's been a nice little gut check.
Yeah.
But Scott and I've been watching scary movies this weekend, and the first night we watched this one called The Visit, and then last night he had never seen the original Pet Sematary.
Oh God.
So we watched that, and I don't recommend it.
It's not good, right?
It's really bad, but it's kitschy. But I mean, it just, animals dying.
Yeah, no.
Babies dying.
No.
Coming back to life. Angry.
No. Who needs that? Who needs that in their lives?
It's Stephen King.
I know, but like, who needs to?
I've just been cooking up a storm, and we've been going to the pool and like just kind of really living my Palm Royale life in the last minus the tequila
and caftans. You've been wearing any caftans?
That's not true. I have been in my kimono.
That's what I'm asking. Do you have any? Yeah, you're wearing. Oh, good. That's good.
Of course.
That's good.
But yes, so City Slickers.
Okay, so we're talking about today, everybody. We're talking about City Slickers, and I just have to say it is absolutely like just right off the bat. I had forgotten. I haven't watched it, and I don't think since it came out in the theater.
I saw it in the theater as well. 91.
I have not watched it since. I mean, I remember City Slickers as being really funny and really cute and really great, but I didn't remember a lot about this movie that, frankly, I was shocked by.
Oh, yeah. So we watched this growing up so much. Like my sister and I love this movie, and we quoted it, and we got to quote lots of things in this movie because in front of our parents.
Yes.
Because we were just quoting, and they knew we were like, if we weren't around their friends. And so we got to say like ass. We were quoting stuff.
Right.
But, and I also realized I would quote a lot of one of the buddies in this movie more than I should have as I rewatched. And, there's a lot of sexy jokes, I guess.
I'm doing some hard lip hiding right now. Like, what I do when Frank accuses me of like thinking too hard or whatever, because the sex jokes in this movie are rampant.
Oh my God. I mean, it's nasty.
It makes me think people in the 90s were just obsessed with sex.
And
like,
just
what?
disgusting. I'm
But
like,
also-
it's not even like, I mean, phrases like screw her brains out, which is
Screw
not
her
really
brains
what he
out.
said. That's me censoring it, but like.
No, he did say screw her brains out. He
No,
said
he said
screw her
screw the
brains.
shit out of her or something.
No, he
like,
said screw your brains out or pound the shit out of her.
how, like, wear her ass as a hat.
Wear her ass as a hat.
And what a lucky saddle. This is on a horse. And also one of the friends is trying to convince Billy Crystal to cheat on his wife. Anyway.
I know.
But this story is so great. This is like part of the 80s, 90s, three dudes like movie, like the buddy movie, like Three Amigos kind of started it, right? So it's always threes.
Yes.
So there was Three Amigos, there's City Slickers, then, you get into, it starts getting into like The Hangover, 3 Men and a Baby. Like it all became the three guys comedies,
the three dudes, right?
And it was just like part of that. But go ahead. I love that I remember this movie well. And I couldn't remember what my origin of wanting a cow as a pet was. And then I'm glad that and then also I'll tell you how I convinced Scott that I was serious, that all I wanted for Christmas was a baby calf. But anyway.
Okay. So
he was like, I don't know what to do.
So this movie is about Billy Crystal's, his name is Mitch, and he is working for an ad agency in New York City, and he's like a media buyer, which is just like the most want job. Or he's like a media ad salesman.
Sells time.
He sells ads, time, airtime. And one of the things I loved about this is that you go in and it's like New York City shots, which I always love. And then there is just the most amazing saxophone solo in the world on the soundtrack.
Always.
I mean, it is just like, damn, y'all.
I love sax. I love sax.
It's just so cheesy. It's just like the cheesiest, most cheesy ass sax solo. But anyway, but there's such a good cast in this movie because it's like the first person you see is obviously Billy Crystal, and then it's Jeffrey Tambor is his boss, which, I mean, Jeffrey Tambor is always somebody's boss. Also, I'm sitting there thinking, Billy Crystal has looked the same age his entire life.
When he said he was 39, turning 39 in that movie, I gasped. I was like, what? He was still only 43.
Yeah.
I was like, he's always looked 50.
He's always looked 50. Always. And I feel like Jeffrey Tambor, too, is the same. Like, he always just
he's always looked 75.
Exactly.
Always.
And then you have Patricia Wettig plays his wife.
Right.
And I love me some Patricia Wettig.
LA Story.
And
no,
also
LA Law. Sorry.
And also, she was on 30-something. She was Major Elliott's wife on 30-something. She's also married to Ken Olin, who was on 30-something and who played, So, I don't, and did you watch 30-something?
No.
Maybe not, yeah. That might be a good one for you to go back and watch, honestly.
Okay.
It's really... I
love
it.
I've seen the cover of it.
Yeah, it's real good. And then you have,
Bruno Kirby.
Of course, Bruno Kirby. And so, like, Bruno Kirby and Billy Crystal were kind of like the bros of this era. Like, he was in When Harry Met Sally with him, and they just have this kind of rapport. And their rapport is kind of the same in City Slickers as it is in...
I'm not sure there's a lot of acting. I think they're just being themselves.
A lot of it is, just them being themselves.
God bless Daniel Stern.
Oh, God, then you have Daniel Stern.
Daniel Stern.
Okay, can I just tell you, I saw him differently for the first time watching this, because I was like,
love him.
He is so cute.
He's so adorable.
He's so cute.
So endearing. He's so dear.
And he's actually better looking than I remember, too.
Yeah, he's this is Daniel Stern was one of the robbers in Home Alone.
Yes.
The tall one.
Yep. Obviously.
And then he was the narrator of The Wonder Years.
Yes. Oh, God. So good.
But he's such a good actor. I think he is, I adore Daniel Stern. And I love that I think all of these guys were kind of, to me, maybe playing themselves, but they had really good chemistry. And I think, it was a good pick. Rick Moranis was cast alongside Billy Crystal and Bruno Kirby. So it wouldn't have been Daniel Stern, but he had to leave the project because his wife was diagnosed with cancer.
Oh, that's terrible. But
anyway, then we got Daniel Stern.
But
and so that's where we are.
But
and I think this, and on the trivia I read about this movie, not only did they had these roles, but they got real into the characters, if not became these characters. They all did their stunts, learned how to ride horses. I mean, you go ahead, but it's just like this movie is like, I don't think it's much of a movie as it was like following these 3 dudes around.
Wait, are you telling me they did all of their own stunts?
Yes. And
oh my gosh.
Yes. And Daniel Stern wouldn't take horseback riding lessons because he thought it was better for the character. Like they all did their own stuff.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah. So but then it opens at the running of the bulls.
Yes, because they're trying to.
Their adventure.
They want to do these adventures because they're all going through like midlife crisis. Yeah. Crises. And so Billy Crystal's having his 39th birthday, and he's going to have a birthday party, and all this stuff goes down. But anyway, the next scene you see, he's going to career day for his son, and he's in his son's classroom.
Who is Jake Gyllenhaal?
Who is his film debut? Baby Jake Gyllenhaal.
It's his first movie.
I know. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's so Jake Gyllenhaal. Now, was this daughter?
He got those teeth fixed, am I right?
He did. That he still had that good hair though.
Great hair.
He's got that good hair.
Still has that hair.
Did Billy Crystal's daughter, is that his real daughter? Yeah,
yes.
She plays the daughter in this.
Yeah, that's his real daughter.
And you only see her like in 2 scenes or something. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so then his friend Bruno Kirby is like, I'm going to take you on a cattle drive for your birthday. They surprise him.
Well,
I'm skipping over a bunch of stuff.
He hates his life.
So he hates his life. He hates his life.
Billy Crystal hates his life.
I forgot. Like the career
all 3
day.
of them hate their lives. They're in this like rut. They're all in the ruts.
They're all in major rut. Yeah. Yeah. And Billy Crystal is talking to his kids' class at career day. He's like, listen, here's how it's going to go. You're going to get a job. You're going to get married.
Your 20s are getting a job. You're going to figure it out. You're going to settle. You're not going to like it, but you got to move on.
Then in your 30s, you're going to have some kids. Then you're going to...
40, you're going to start getting fat. I mean, it's like he goes through all of the decades. Yeah, and honestly, when I was watching, I was like, yep. Uh-huh. Sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yep. Check that off.
Nailed it.
Got it.
Nailed it. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It's very cynical and negative. Yes. And everyone's like, okay.
Yeah. And he's clearly this guy
in a very bad place.
He's in a bad place. And his wife, Patricia Weddick, she's had it with him. And she's just like, you know what? You just go off it. So anyway, I'm getting the timeline wrong. But are we ready to move on to when they get to the cattle drive?
So the wife is like, go on this adventure, find yourself, or don't come back until you're like happy. Yes. You have to figure this out. I can't fix this for you. You hate your life. You hate your job. You can quit your job, whatever. You just need to go do this for 2 weeks. See you in 2 weeks.
Yes.
Come back better.
Yes. Come back better.
Then they go to this ranch to do a cattle drive. So go ahead.
They go to this ranch to do a cattle drive, and they meet all the people that are going to be on the cattle drive with them. Now, there is a doctor and his son. The doctor is played by Bill Henderson, who, by the way, is an amazing jazz singer.
Oh, really?
I know Bill Henderson from jazz singing, not necessarily as an actor. Isn't that funny?
Like you call him at home?
No. I just know I know of him. I did see him in person in Connecticut a few years ago. But yeah, he's a great jazz singer.
Do you also know Helen Slater?
Who's Helen Slater?
She's the girl. Helen Slater from The Legend of Billie Jean.
Oh, that's who she is. Yeah. I couldn't remember who she was. I knew she looked familiar.
She's a badass biatch.
Okay, listen. So she's also on this cattle drive.
Yeah.
And she's going to go with all these dudes on this cattle drive, and she's the only woman. And she's like, I was thinking about not going.
Because she chose to. Her friend stood her up.
Yeah. And so then they're like, no, please come. And that's when all
the nasty starts coming up.
One of the many sex jokes starts coming up. I had no idea there were so many sex jokes in this movie.
I didn't either.
I mean, it is crazy.
And I made a lot of them when I was little, not knowing what they meant.
Good Lord. So then is that Bonnie? Is that her name, Bonnie? Okay.
Yep.
And so then they all are getting outfitted.
And there's Ben and Jerry's.
Then there's Ben and Jerry's. Ben and Jerry's? Yeah.
Well,
Ben and Jerry's. There's like the ice cream dudes, right?
Yeah. This couple, and then
they're playing like ice cream guys. Yeah, they're like executives from the ice cream company or whatever. Yeah, but then there's also they find out they have 2 guys that are going to lead the cattle drive, 2 cowboys, and then they meet Curly,
Jack Palance.
Talk to me about Curly, Natalie.
I love Curly. I love Jack Palance. I've gotten into Westerns.
I know.
Like old Westerns. And he was in Shane, which I haven't rewatched. I watched that when I was little, but I got to rewatch it.
Yes.
And Jack Palance read this script and was up for another movie that was like some serious movie. And he turned it down because he loved this script so much. And he's only in like 20 minutes total of this movie.
Yeah. Yep.
And he, it's like he only had to shoot for 2 weeks. The man won an Academy Award for his performance in this movie.
He should have won.
He was up against Tommy Lee Jones and like Harvey Keitel. I mean, he was up against like Ben Kingsley, all these people, and they were like,
my gosh.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, and he won.
That is hilarious. Well, he should have won an Academy Award just for keeping that cigarette in the side of his mouth the whole time.
Impressive.
I was like, how did he keep that cigarette in the side of his mouth?
He's a real cowboy.
I know, but that thing must have been soggy. I mean, come on. He kept it in there somehow. I have a question for you. I know that you are going to start smoking again when you're like 75, 80.
I've gone to 82.
Okay, so 82.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Question. Have you ever considered, instead of smoking, something that was really prevalent in this movie was chewing tobacco?
No.
I don't know if you ever
I've done that once. I've done that once at Lizzie's family farm.
You did?
Yep.
Gross.
And I threw up for like 2 hours.
Gross.
After chewing and spitting once, I accidentally swallowed some and it was over. I was
sick.
I was like 18.
Sick.
Disgusting.
There is a lot of chewing tobacco in this movie. Like the old lady is chewing tobacco.
It's
Bruno
a symbol.
Kirby.
It's like a symbol of a real cowboy. Like you have to, if you're going to be a cowboy person, tobacco is a integral part of that. You can't just be a smoke-free, tobacco-free cow person.
I don't.
You have to.
I don't know.
You got to be doing something bad.
Listen, I don't know.
No cow people vape. Okay. It's either you chew, you smoke. You don't have Nicorette gum. They don't just like spit out Nicorette gum.
You're killing me. Oh, you're killing me.
So
I don't know how.
They got cigars, they got pipes, they got all the stuff.
They got all the stuff. If they roll their own, they got their own.
They roll their own, yes.
All the things.
That's legit. That is crazy.
That is legit. I don't know how you can be a smoker like that and use that much tobacco and still have the wind, frankly, to ride horses all day and do all the things that you have to do. Like, how do you not just like get emphysema and just keel over and die? I don't know, but that's for another.
Is that not what happened?
There's that is kind of. That kind of is.
Spoiler alert! Got the gun.
Spoiler alert!
You're skipping all the how nasty. Well, first of all, you're skipping
trying to skip ahead.
some of the quotes.
No, I didn't want to skip ahead of that.
When you were little, or when you were younger, after you saw this movie, did you and your friends not always say hello?
Oh yes, hello. I still say that. I still say that.
Same.
So Billy Crystal.
I forgot I was quoting City Slickers.
Yeah, Billy Crystal. He is so funny in this movie because he keeps using humor every time he gets in trouble, like with Curly, or like whenever he's trying to diffuse the situation, he comes back and tries to use some kind of witty humor, which makes you really fall in love with him because his character really is a good guy. Like that's why this movie is such a feel-good movie, because he is just a good guy, right? Yeah. But no, I just had questions. I don't have a lot of like, I'm not going to outline the whole movie because I know you can probably like quote it chapter and verse.
Well, I just wanted to know if you had any favorite questions.
It was
Ask your questions.
Hello. Okay.
I got bigger. I got more.
I have another question. So there's this guy who's the cook, and he's going to go on the trail with
everything.
them. And
that guy was in everything in the 90s.
So I just revealed that guy was who in this movie would you say you are? Who are you in this movie? Which character are you in City Slickers?
Can I say who I want to be?
Yes.
Curly.
I know you are. I was going to say you're Curly. I was going to say you're Curly. I was going to say that you are Curly, but then
you're Billy Crystal.
I kind of think of you as Billy Crystal.
No, you're Billy Crystal. I mean,
listen,
you're Ed.
Who's Ed?
Bruno Kirby.
No, I'm not. Bruno
Kirby.
Kirby.
Your sexy jokes.
Bruno Kirby is so foul in this movie about all of this stuff about women. He's just
because he's like this insecure little man.
Yeah,
who was just talking about like, I mean, who says like wear her ass as a hat?
I know. I
had to ask Scott what that meant, and I'm sorry I did.
It's a lot.
But the quote, but Billy Crystal leads a lot of this like gentle comedy, which is I think what you would do, like when they're riding, there's like Rollin. And my cousin and sister and I used to sing this all the time, like Rollin,
all the time, Rollin.
You know,
geez, my ass is swollen,
ride. And we got to sing that in front of my parents because they thought it was hilarious.
I still sing that Whenever I sing that song,
So
whoa,
do my
my ass is
parents.
swollen every time. I mean,
like
that's where this came from.
Rollin'. Yeah, it's like the parenthood diarrhea song. It just sticks.
It really is. It really, really. I wrote that
and
down.
Then one of the quotes, and I think this was from the cattle ranch owner.
Mm-hmm.
He says, and I've never heard this before.
Yeah.
Happy as a puppy with 2 Peters.
Forgot about that part.
What?
Yeah, what? What is
Excuse
that? Me? What exactly is that?
Would a puppy be happy with 2 Peters? I don't think so. That sounds like a mess.
It sounds like a lot.
It sounds exhausting.
Exhausting. Yeah. Keeping both of those things. Yeah.
So they go on this, they learn how to ride horses. They have to learn how to rope.
Yeah.
Do all this stuff. And they have to take this cattle to Colorado. Or from Montana, or where are they? Santa Fe?
New Mexico. I don't know.
Anyway, and so it's like all the ins and outs of this adventure.
Yeah.
And Curly comes to help them, and Billy Crystal and Curly become buddies, and he was real scary at first, but then Curly dies silently sitting there.
But he takes him out on one-on-one on like
they
go get some, they bond and
teach him life lessons.
Curly says, you just got to learn this one thing
that you need to make you happy. That's the most important thing to you. It's the one thing. And it's different for everybody.
Yeah.
And poor Daniel Stern is in the middle of a horrible marital situation where he was having an affair he runs a grocery store for his father-in-law. He got busted screwing one of the young worker gals there, and she thought she was pregnant. Well, she's not, but the wife was there, and she's horrible and abusive, and he's trying to he's all but suicidal. Okay. Yeah, he's trying to figure out what he wants to do.
Yep.
Ed, the other friend, is this sex-crazed pervert who keeps dating, and he just married this other young woman, and he's just overcompensating for all of this major insecurities and majorly this mustachio that he has, which is all you need to know about that character analysis. Is his mustache.
You know how
tells you everything you need to know.
You know how you always say you can tell a person by their shoes
and their mustache,
but that mustache really that guy. You know that guy is offering women mustache rides constantly.
Oh, yes, he is. Especially the way he talks. My God.
Is sick.
But so my favorite part of this movie, Billy Crystal helps a cow give birth. The cow's dying, and he helps give birth to this calf. And that really did happen in this movie. He actually did deliver this calf on screen. They had 3 pregnant cows at the time. And so he delivered this cow, and the cow's name's Norman. It's the cutest little thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
It's
and
the
I've
cutest
always wanted
thing
a baby cow.
Oh,
and
God, it's so cute.
I still do. It has a little human face and this really, really sweet little cow, and it becomes his little pet. And then they go through all these adventures where the bad cowboys pretend that they're going to kill Norman with the gun, and then Daniel Stern has a nervous breakdown on them and with guns, and it's great. And then they go away.
Well, he stands up to the bullies, and they're such bullies, these guys. And Daniel Stern has been bullied for so long in his life by his wife and by all the people in his life, and he finally stands up to the bully. And so everybody in this situation, they get their redemption, or their not redemption, but their they find their one thing.
They find their
They
things.
find themselves, right?
Yes.
Even though it's kind of joked about at the beginning, you city slickers, you think you're just what is
you think you're going to come here and discover who you are and have this life-changing experience with you're a dime a dozen, right?
Yeah.
But they do, and they come back all brand new men, and they're excited about their families and whatever their next steps are, and it's really sweet.
Don't skip over the part where so the baby cow, they decide they're going to drive the cattle themselves because the 2 cow hand guys take off. So it's Curly died. And so it's just these guys. And then the doctor, who's played by Bill Henderson.
And all those horrible people that bail. They want to leave the cattle by themselves without water resource. And they're like, sorry.
Yeah. And Bruno Kirby is the only one who's you don't leave your herd. You don't leave your cattle. And so but Bill Henderson's character, I can't remember his name right now, Ben, the doctor, the dentist, and his son, they take Cookie, who is injured. The cook. Who, by the way, had drawn a happy face on his ass and then mooned all of them. So that's why I thought maybe you were going to be the cook for a minute there. Well, I thought you were Jack Palance, but then I was like, she's also kind of the cook because
doesn't make me Cookie the cook. If he did 2 moonings, maybe 1 mooning, I'm not Cookie the Cook, who looks like a dust ball.
I mean, he
looks like that dirty kid from Charlie Brown.
But I definitely
there's like flies around it.
I definitely saw Pigpen. His name's Pigpen.
Whatever.
I definitely saw a little bit of that Natalie spirit in the mooning. Just in the mooning.
People can moon. I mean, I don't believe that every time someone moons, my spirit is connected.
Well, I don't know. I don't know that many people who are as into mooning as you are.
I would love to. If you want to call me an influencer, that's up to you. I mean, I can't call myself that.
You are.
But I don't want to be. That doesn't mean I'm influenced by Cookie.
Well.
And I've never drawn on my own ass.
Well, there's still time.
Till now. Just kidding. I'm not gonna do that.
How did he even draw on his ass? Did he take like charcoal? Like, what did he even do that with?
Marker? I don't know.
How do you draw on your own ass?
Your hand is actually literally touching your butt, and you can do it right. You could, if you had a pen in your hand right now, where you're doing, you can do it right there.
You're right. I could just take a pen and probably do it.
It's not.
It's
you
not
don't
hard.
even have to be Houdini to do it. Okay, pretty easy. Don't ask me why I know that. Anyway, so did you know that Clint Eastwood was considered for the role of Curly?
Oh my God!
But they couldn't pay him enough money.
Oh. Huh.
But it would have been, and that makes sense. But I'm so glad it was Jack Palance, because
Jack Palance was so
Billy
much better.
Crystal had such a connection to the movie Shane, and so he'd always loved Jack Palance and always thought of him in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
But all of these guys, by the way, got obsessed with horses after this movie in real life. Yeah. Daniel Stern bought a 500 acre cattle ranch after this movie.
Wow.
I mean, these guys turned it into real life.
Dang.
Yeah. And also, we need to, before we get to our chicks up here in a little bit, what is the most memorable quote to you? Because we haven't said it to me. I mean, I know the one I think that is historical.
I don't remember because I don't think I wrote it down. But tell me what yours is, because it's probably the same.
I don't like to say it.
Okay. Yeah. What is it?
I don't like to say this.
Okay.
Because it's gross.
But you say it, but you're going to say it, right?
It's when Curly to Billy Crystal says, "I crap bigger than you."
Oh, I did write that down.
And the reason you have to remember that is because it comes back when Jack Palance won Best Supporting Actor in 1991 at the Academy Awards. He opens his acceptance speech with, "I crap bigger than Billy Crystal." And then he goes and does one-handed push-ups. And I remember watching that live.
That is amazing. We have to share that on our Instagram. That was the year
that Silence of the Lambs
won. Wow.
Yeah.
Dang. That was a lot.
And Jessica Tandy was nominated for Fried Green Tomatoes. And that's when we were in LA in 1991 Oscars. So that was that time we met Jessica Tandy and Hume Cronyn.
Oh my gosh.
And in the clip I sent you of Jack Palance, they show Jessica Tandy and Hume Cronyn in the audience.
Oh my gosh.
And Cape Fear was out that year. And Juliette Lewis was nominated for an Academy Award. It was a huge year for movies. And then here's City Slickers. Yeah. The only thing it's nominated for, and it wins.
Wow. And
it's a big year for movies. It was Jessica Tandy was nominated for Fried Green Tomatoes.
Oh my gosh. That is amazing. Yeah. And
the encyclopedia of useless information.
Oh, you are. I'm really impressed. I love that. I love it. I have to talk to you about.
And Billy Crystal bought his horse, by the way, that he rode.
Wow. Okay.
And rode it again on City Slickers 2. The looking something for Curly's gold. And Jack Palance comes back and plays Curly's twin. And I don't know his name in it, but I'm going to call him Shirley.
Okay. Shirley. Curly. Okay. Listen, we got to talk about a couple things that are on my mind about this movie. The first thing is the lady who's on the cattle drive with them. I don't remember.
Helen Slater.
Yeah. Okay.
She was an icon.
Okay. She is wearing Ralph Lauren gear the entire time. She looks so
good. I know. I was like, I had that. I'd wear that now.
There was a Ralph Lauren brand called, it was like Ralph Lauren America or Ralph Lauren West or something like that.
Yeah.
It was like this. And this woman is wearing tweed jackets with a denim shirt with an ascot
Yeah.
And then her hair is like up on top of her head with like a high bun.
And a Pioneer Oregon Trail hairdo.
Yes. And
people are doing that now.
Yeah. She is
it's still relevant.
She is completely like on point with her Ralph Lauren look.
Ugh.
It is crazy, but she doesn't get mussed or fussed the entire
Have you ever seen Helen Slater in a jean jacket or a leather jacket?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, she's bad.
No, she's good. She's so good. She's bad. She's good.
Yeah.
The other thing is, we talked about Norman the calf that Billy Crystal actually really delivered. I cannot believe that he really delivered.
Yeah, he really did that.
That is amazing.
And after that movie, he's never had veal since.
Oh yeah,
that because he delivered this calf and he's never touched veal since this movie.
Because baby cow.
I wouldn't.
I just want to. I want to. So there's this part where the baby calf they have to cross a river and the baby calf almost dies. And Billy Crystal goes and saves this calf. And that's the time of the movie where I feel like that's the heart and soul of this movie, where you watch him save this.
Fight for something and not put himself first and
not be so cynical.
Caution to the wind.
Yeah, and just he was only focused on that one thing, and that was the one thing that
was the one thing in the moment that he could. That was his one thing.
And it was like what that calf represents to me. I was like, it's innocence, it's saving a life, it's birthing, it's sacrifice, it's like the heart.
It's also
soul.
his life. You have to fight for your own life, like the quality of your own life, and you have to fight for that. You have to go get it.
Yes.
Deep talk here.
Seriously,
you can sit back and watch your life go by. That's completely up to you. But if you want to have a better quality of life, you have to use your own the resources that you have, which all you ever have really is yourself, and you have to be proactive to do that. So this whole metaphor of like him, getting his shit. It's like him getting his shit together
emotionally,
and then going home and having a clear eye. Like, let's Friday Night Lights it. Clear eyes, full heart, can't lose.
Yep.
Right. He's just like tunnel vision. Like, I have this beautiful family and I have a job where there's a lot of opportunity here. Like, I've just given up.
Yeah.
And I'm expecting things to just happen to me and me not go get these things that I want.
And we
like
all
take care
go
of what
through
I have.
that. We all go through that. It's part of life, and it's part of like that. That's kind of what the whole,
if you don't have these moments, and how do you get to have all these restarts and reboots? And that's part of the fun, I think, is like getting to, you get infinite amount of chances. You know, you get one life, but you get so many opportunities to do different things and try different ways and have different attitudes.
And that's really the message of this movie, which is why it is such a feel good. It is the most feel good of feel good movies. I have totally forgotten. I bought it too because
it wouldn't let us rent it, but it was better to watch it.
Exactly. But I'm really glad you suggested this movie though, because I can see myself rewatching this a lot now.
I love it. I know. I love it so much. I can't wait to show Keenan Jackson. Like, it's just such a good movie.
And even though the sex jokes are ridiculous, and they're so obsessed with sex the entire time.
They're still so ridiculous that they might, this new generation, maybe it'll fall on deaf ears because it's so blatantly gross. There's no like lingo, you know, it's just so straight up. It might just go right on.
I don't know. Yeah. We have
but it's hard to hear it out of that mustache mouth. So that's where the jig is up.
That mustache mouth.
Coming out of that mouth
is
nasty.
And then in the last
How did he pass away? He died the same year as Jack Palance, actually.
I don't know. I don't remember.
I think he had canker.
Oh. Okay.
Anyway.
Now, I just want to say one last thing about City Slickers before we get into our chicka-chicka.
That's going to take a minute.
Yeah. They get the herd to Colorado only to find out that these cattle have arrived at Hamburger Junction.
Oh, they just showed up to Whataburger. And that's not usually how it is. Like, it's usually not for meat.
No. Yeah, it is for meat. It's for meat,
in
Natalie.
the movie, they were like, usually
it's for meat.
But the guy got the ranch man got an offer he couldn't refuse. And he was like, don't get too connected. And they like know all of these cows.
They've
like
been
best
through
friends
the
with all these
war
cows
together.
Yeah, and they're like, they're as good as your next lunch.
Nighty night.
That's when, and then Billy Crystal went out and he was like, Norman came and found him, and Norman like cries a lot, but it sounds like Dad. I mean, it's like Dad. And it sounded like me when I used to like be in my room and be like, Dad. When they'd be trying to make me go to sleep, and I couldn't sleep. And I'm like, Dad, hey, Dad. Dad. And like they have to Ferberize you. And I'm like, I'm 11. Am I being Ferberized? Anyway.
Being what?
Ferberize, like where you let the kid talk until they fall asleep.
I'm sorry. What's
like
that
you
word?
Let babies cry.
What's that word?
Ferberize. Is that right?
Ferberize?
Ferberizing.
What? This is a new term for me. I've never heard it.
Ferberizing is when you let a baby cry itself to sleep so you don't go soothe it all the time so that they become used to you always coming in there and helping them go to sleep so they can put themselves to sleep and self-soothe. Self-soothe.
No.
Yeah.
For the Ferber
Stick
technique.
with me, kid. You'll learn a few things.
Wow. I had no idea that was what that was called. Okay.
It's to like help like they wouldn't come in because they were like, you need to help yourself fall asleep. And I'm like, Dad, hey, Dad, hey, Dad, hey, Dad, hey, Dad. And anyway, it sounded like Norman.
Do you ever do that to Scott now? Because I think that would be really fun. Hey, Scott.
Well, I do things. I'm like, pick up.
The other
night, hi.
The other night, Frank had to go sleep with Daryl, my cat, because Daryl was having a hard time. And so
y'all don't Ferberize.
No, we should have Ferberized Daryl.
Yeah. Too late.
F-U-R.
Oh, good one.
Get it? Okay.
Gentle comedy.
Listen,
But wait, so Norman comes back home.
Yeah, he comes back home.
Billy Crystal can't stand to let Norman become fast food. So he takes Norman home and they have a little pet cow. That's why I want one.
Takes him home.
I told Scott, I was like, all I want for Christmas is a cow.
Oh.
He was like, and he really believed me for a second. He was like, Natalie, they get big. I was like, yeah, we have a big backyard. He was like, Natalie, he looks so stressed out. Like, what am I going to get her for Christmas? All she wants is a fucking cow.
Oh my God.
And then I was like, I'm just kidding, but
he really thought you wanted a cow.
No, I was very convincing.
I could have a cow in my backyard. My backyard is huge, and it's like a giant
I want
lawn.
him to sleep. I want them in the house at first.
Yeah, to sleep, and then
Just
you feed them with a little bottle. Yeah.
Yes.
A little Evian bottle with a glove at the end, like that other cow, like Norman had.
So cute.
I know, so cute.
Yeah, so precious.
Listen.
But I got to go. I got to marinate my steaks for dinner. So.
Listen.
I'm just kidding.
No, you're not.
I am. We're not eating steak for dinner.
You sent me a picture of your hamburger just last night.
That was cheeseburger. It was different. No. So anyway, let's do our chick stop. So anyway, everybody go rewatch City Slickers.
It's really good.
It's a real treat.
And honestly, like in this world, am I right? Sometimes in this
environment,
I mean, you need to watch some City Slickers.
Type of relief for yourself that you can get it where you can get it.
This is one of those movies that
it's worth the $14.99.
It really is, and it's timeless, and it's actually I just have to say a lot funnier than I actually anticipated it being. I thought it was going to be super cheesy.
I smiled.
Yeah.
The whole time.
Also, I want to go around telling people that they're spooking the cattle.
That's so good.
Hey, you're spooking the cattle. Okay?
Stop spooking the cattle.
Hey, stop spooking the cattle.
You want to go around and tell everyone you crap bigger than them.
I do.
Just say it.
I do. Okay. I do. All right, Natalie.
Yep.
We have to talk about something sad again. I don't want to bring down our listeners, but I think a lot of our listeners are probably.
Well, she deserves.
So we're going to do our chick stop. Chick.
Bow, bow.
Ooh, yeah. Today we're going to talk about Shannon.
The one, the only.
Shannon Doherty.
Brenda.
Heather. You guys. Heather.
I mean, charmed.
She was on Little House on the Prairie. When she was on that movie. I mean, that show, was it Family with Deirdre Hall? Was it called Family? Can't remember what that was called. It was something house. It was something
Prairie House.
Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't Prairie House. Our house with Deirdre Hall and
Girls Just Want to Have Fun.
Wilfred Brimley. Yeah. Yep. And
she was in Girls Just Want to Have Fun.
She was just the sort of like.
She was the first baddie.
Yep.
She was the first
yes.
Don't tell me what to do.
Yes.
Didn't mind being called rude because she stuck up for herself and she was outspoken and she was strong.
Yep.
And she was the epitome of cool. I mean, she was cool. And
she was cool and she was super, but she was not even just.
She was a really good actress.
She was a good actress, but she also had her voice had a certain rasp to it.
Mm-hmm.
She had a certain
Could have been
way.
the smoking.
It could have been the smoking, but even when she was little, she just had like a sass.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know that it was coolness as much as she was sassy. Isn't
sassiness coolness?
She was fiery, you know?
Yeah. She was a pistol.
She was a pistol. She was just
and
a
she
pistol.
Didn't care what people thought about her. She just like was herself.
I know.
And it cost her jobs. It cost her relationships, but she just like was herself. And then, you know, in Heather, I mean, one of the best, most iconic relationships on television history is Dylan McKay and Brenda Walsh.
I know.
From 90210.
I know.
It was so like too bad, like two anti-authority teenagers together that also just want to be good. But she got diagnosed with like serious breast cancer, and then it went away, and then it came back, and then it went and came back, and then it went to her brain. I mean, she passed away this week, but seems like she had been tying up loose ends.
Yes.
And all of this. And I think that she's such an icon.
Yeah.
Absolutely of the 90s. Like you don't think of in my years of being on this earth, I don't think of the 90s and not think about Shannon Doherty.
Oh yeah. She was
everywhere.
There. Yep. She totally was.
She's always been relevant.
Yep. I know. I think the final act of her badassery was really that she had been meaning to get divorced from her husband for a long time. Yes. And so she called her lawyer when she knew it was getting like really close to her being going.
Yeah.
And said, we have to get this paperwork done because I don't want to die married to that man.
Yeah. Can you imagine being that guy?
No. That's not, But, who knows what that relationship was really like. But at the same time, it's like, girl, she went out the way she wanted to go out. I mean, she was quoted as saying she didn't want to die, but
she knew
it was coming, and she was like, I got to go out the way I need to go out, which you got to respect.
Yeah.
She's one of our sisters. She's our age. She's, we just have to raise a glass to her. So here's to Shannon Doherty.
Cheers to
Thank
Shannon Doherty.
For all of your...
Thank you for Brenda.
Brenda and that little girl in Little House on the Prairie.
And the little girl in... No. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it Girls Just Want to Have Fun?
I don't remember.
Dance Fever? Yes.
I don't know.
Sarah Jessica Parker.
Dance Fever?
She plays the little sister of... Do you remember the movie Girls Just Want to Have Fun? Have you ever seen it?
Vaguely.
Sarah Jessica Parker, Helen Hunt, and Shannon Doherty plays the little sister of the main dude.
Okay.
And they are trying out for Dance Fever.
Sounds like we need to do an episode of Girls Just Want to Have Fun. Something like that. Anyway, so rest in peace, Shannon. And just to bring it back up again, I just want to say I don't know what else I'm going to say other than...
Well, let's just bring it back to our breathing and let's end this meditation.
This pop culture, city slickers.
Thank you for anyone that is listening. We really appreciate you.
You one beautiful soul, you.
I mean, it's fine to have in the background too. You can always play games and just have it on the background, whatever.
Yeah.
Do you?
Absolutely.
You could write a review if you're feeling, in a good place. And give us some likes and
follow us.
Watch us on YouTube if you're bored. Just that'd be great. We really appreciate it. And we're very grateful and we love you very much.
Tell your friends. Tell all your friends.
Yeah. Send a text. Maybe a group chat.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yes.
Make fun of us.
You could.
Whatever.
Yeah.
We're interested in positive and negative attention. I'm just kidding. Please don't do that. Please don't give us a bad review. If you're tempted, just skip it.
Oh, Natalie,
anyway, Angela, as I would like to relax, what I will say to you is namaste. Rolling, rolling, rolling. Man, my ass is swollen right.
It's funny because I was going to say that to you. I was going to say those exact words to you. And instead, I'm going to say to you, namaste. Wearing your ass as a hat, girly.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay.
Sorry. I'll just stay curly. I'll just stay curly.
Just stay curly.
I'll just stay curly.
Okay.
Just stay curly. All right. Love you, Norman.
Well,
love you. Love you, Norman. Moo.
Love you, Curly. Bye, Billy Crystal.
Natalie. Natalie.
Natalie.
Love
you.
Hello. Now, isn't that better? Thanks for listening. Feel free to leave us a review and be sure to subscribe wherever you get your shows. Put Your Books Down is produced by ClantonCreative.com.